Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Spencer. Thank you so much for joining. I'm pleased today to have John Trigg, Liana Ertz, who will be presenting recognition by Workhuman and their integration with Microsoft Teams. Take it away, John.
Thanks very much, Bill, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. My name is John Trigg, and for the next 25 minutes or so, Liana and myself are going to take you through a little bit about Workhuman, but more importantly, take you through our application add-in for the Microsoft Teams environment. Our agenda today is to take a look a bit behind our ethos and what drives Workhuman and why we're in the market, and take a look at how Microsoft Teams has evolved the work of hybrid work, and then get into the function, and Liana is actually going to demonstrate our add-in for Microsoft Teams. And then we'll be able to take questions at the very end of the session. We are humans, as we like to say. Without the human, it is just work, and hence our name, Workhuman. And we have these human portraits to introduce ourselves to an audience when we get in front of clients and customers and people who are interested in what we do. This is me, an expat Brit living here in the US, been here for since 1989, so nearly 34 accidental years, but have thoroughly enjoyed my time here and had the time to travel and get into a great company like Workhuman, where the mission of the organization really resonated with myself. Liana herself also just actually relocated from her home in Dublin to London, enjoys travel, and as you can see, very much tied into sport, but as somebody who's added a lot to our organization in terms of being able to evolve and work with our clients, evolving the work of the integration squad and what we do in bringing the power of recognition to people and where they work. So it's a pleasure to meet you all, and hopefully what you'll hear from us in the next 20 or 25 minutes or so will be of interest to you, and encourage you to take a look at our app for Microsoft Teams. So what is the human workplace and why Workhuman? It's, after all, a workplace is made up of people, and this is different, and why we think a human workplace is more important than just simply headcount is that it's really where we harness the power of the human connection to build resilient, high-performing teams, no matter where those teams happen to be. And certainly as we look over the years of the pandemic and the emergence of the hybrid workplace, Microsoft Teams and Workhuman make a natural fit for bringing these points of connection together. And for leaders, that's important, because it means that they can breed and foster and encourage these healthy, high-performing work teams and count people more than just our greatest asset. It's one that lives and breathes and acts like it is. That means that employees today want a sense of belonging, purpose, achievement, and happiness. They want meaningful work, personal and professional growth, and a feeling of contributing to the workplace. The human workplace enables all of these things across all of these dimensions that concern people in and out of their lives. And as we see the digital transformation of the workplace, the ideas of connection, equity and inclusion, engagement, safety are key if we want to retain our employees and have them acting and participating in our workspace and our mission in an active and day-to-day ethos. But what does the data say? It's a couple of very interesting pieces of data points that we can talk to here. The first, revealed by Microsoft and their Work Trend Index in 2021, indicating that hybrid work is here to stay. It should be no mystery at this point in time that employees want to have flexibility in their working arrangements. They can be more productive, but they want to stay engaged, and they want to stay connected to their colleagues and their teams and their projects and their missions. And that's what leaders have to understand, and have to understand how they adapt work policies to meet the employees where they want to be. Workhuman undertook a piece of work with Gallup to research how recognition programs, the core of our business, can drive business impact. And we can show through this survey that employers who recognize life events and key milestones, key connection points for employees in their day-to-day activity inside and outside the workplace, encourage a greater fostering of the culture of the organization, and ensure that the idea of retention, 30% more likely to say they plan to stay with an organization in 5 years' time when these characteristics are fostered. So what does it mean for the use of Workhuman inside an environment like Microsoft Teams? The digital landscape is expanding. There's no mistaking. More and more employees are spending more and more of their time to perform their day-to-day tasks inside Microsoft Teams. It's where they go to meet. It's where they go to collaborate and create, where they go to communicate. These are points where there are points of connection, and for us, the points of recognition that can happen between employees and between teams. We don't want to lose those. We want to make sure that we have these points of celebration as they occur. And Microsoft Teams is a great venue for us to be able to capture and allow employees to be able to recognize one another as those moments occur, as people engage and react and respond to one another, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's in the communication, whether it's a chat thread, or perhaps it's the completion of a project or the delivery of some interim step. When we look at the loss of in-person feedback, we can see a direct measure and a direct impact on employee retention. Employee happiness comes from being recognized and being seen when you are contributing to the overall mission of the organization. We want that to be true, and we want organizations to be able to harness that and let employees recognize one another in this peer-to-peer mode, rather than waiting for one big bang recognition moment that may happen once a year or perhaps even less frequently. So for us, the idea of cultivating positivity and increasing connection is why we look to Microsoft Teams and wanting to bring our recognition software and our recognition options integrated directly into Microsoft Teams. The integration that we offer between Microsoft Teams and our core platform, Workhuman Cloud, is called Recognition by Workhuman. You can find that today on the Microsoft Store, and we'll provide a link to that at the end of this slide deck. As we'll see both in the couple of slides that I'll walk you through next, and also what Liana will demonstrate, is how in the moment, without disrupting a workflow, an employee can recognize the people that they are working with at key points in that in those interactions. That's vital, and as we've seen, can really bolster that notion of connection and culture. Workhuman's very centered around the notion of values, and as we work with our clients, the ability for a client to define their values inside our platform and expose those through both Workhuman Cloud and now through Microsoft Teams allows employees to recognize one another for core things that are central to the business, moving them off simple slideware and posters to actual actions and points of recognition and celebration within the workflow. The other thing that we've seen here is that the social aspect of recognition is also quite key to the success of an organization's program. It's not just another message. We don't want to just deliver another email. The ability to message directly inside Microsoft Teams when an employee receives an award gives that employee both a lift and an ability to thank the person who has awarded them directly inside the Teams, fostering that connectivity, fostering the network that is happening in work, both formally and informally as we interact with one another throughout the day. And we want to be able to amplify those moments across an organization. And the idea of a feed of award celebrations that are happening across the organization or within your very close work circle are things that the integration can also bring to an organization. Our notion of award social feed allows a company and allows an individual to see what is happening minute by minute from an award activity front, an award activity perspective across an entire organization. It's these 3 points that we see adding value to an organization and really harnessing the connectivity between Microsoft Teams and Workhuman. As I mentioned, Liana is going to step through an actual demonstration of this, but as we'll see, the notion of creating an award nomination inside Teams is one of those quick points of contact that happen in the flow of work. This could be within a chat or within a channel, and allow one individual to celebrate the contribution or the completion of an activity by one or more other colleague, and use the predefined award reasons or company values as to why they are celebrating those particular individuals. Further, that award can have value tied to it. The premise of the notion of recognition is not just a simple thank you, but also showing that you value that colleague for the work that they have done, that can then be redeemed for a good or a service that Workhuman curates and exposes to the employees of an organization through our marketplace. It drives a notion of having connection. It drives the notion of delivering the key values, and also for an individual, the value of performing their work and being recognized by their peers and by their colleagues, whether it's an ongoing piece of work or a simple one-to-one interaction. That notion of delivering a notification when an award is received is also lifting the employee's experience. And this notion of delight raises above that noise of email, where such a notion or such a communication maybe gets lost. Here, a direct communication from your award program showing you why you've received this award and from whom you've received this award gets that positivity in your daily work right within Teams. You have the ability to go and view the award, but more importantly, you have the ability to go and thank the individual who has given you that award right here in Microsoft Teams. A direct message to another individual can spark and further that conversation, that collaboration. It's a key point of connection that goes beyond simply saying thank you to actually enhancing and improving that notion of social connectivity across the organization. And similarly, the idea of the award feed across the organization gives you a purview as to what is going on and how individuals and groups are being recognized, and for the values that they are being recognized for across the work that you may not have on a day-to-day basis inside the organization. I hope this resonates with you in terms of what we are and how the power of recognition can further your organization's mission from an HR perspective and a culture perspective, and also the delivery of just work. To see it in action now, what I'd like to do is hand over the screen to my colleague, Liana.
Perfect. Thanks, John. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing my MS Teams screen. So
Yes.
What I'm going to do is step you guys through, just like John said. First off, I'll show just how easy it is to submit a nomination via Teams. So you can see here I've got our app pinned on the side. And I'm in a chat with one of my colleagues here, and I am super grateful that he is letting me ping him to help demonstrate this chat. So say I want to give him an award, it's as simple as clicking the messaging extension, which we also recommend customers to ping this or pin this down the end, so it's easy access for the clients. What it will do is, if it can recognize the person in the chat, it pre-populates them here. It also gives me the option, if I want to add someone into this, that I can very easily search people within the company to also add them onto the award. It pre-populates all of the award reasons that we have within the core program. And then as I select each one, it brings down a new list of drop downs in order to give the value that I feel I want to give for this award. And I'm just going to write a quick message.
Liana, while you're doing that, and while you fill out the award text there, which are sort of key moments of this point of recognition, it's important to flag here that what you see called Spark is how we've branded our recognition program inside Workhuman, We expect every client to want to be able to brand their own recognition programs, and the Teams application, the Teams integration allows for that. So whether our client calls in their recognition program Bravo or Step Up or Thank You or Catalyze or whatever it might be, they can control the branding of the app inside the Microsoft Teams environment to continue to push forward their value and their branding of the recognition program that they are pushing through their HR communication folks. Thanks, Liana.
Exactly. And yeah, the award reasons and values is all completely customizable per client configuration as well. So I'm just going to send off that award. And brilliant. It gives me a thanks for recognizing a colleague and that the award will be delivered shortly. So we also have the ability from a particular message if we wanted to launch it from there as well. So you'll see similar, the same kind of flow just brings you into the pop-up. And then from a award delivery perspective, so anytime I get a new award, like John mentioned, it comes in here into the chat. So as soon as I would usually receive it via email, as soon as that kind of hits my inbox, I get the notification here showing me exactly who's nominated me, what it's for, and the message there as well. And like John said, I can very quickly shoot off a thank you message to the person who has sent me that award. And what I'm going to do is just quickly jump into our production just to show the view award functionality as well. So for each, and hopefully it's moved out of the Teams, but for each award that you get, you can get a pop-up here. And it will show you the award if there's any comments, and you can quickly go in and redeem that award within our store as well. But yeah, hopefully that gives you guys the idea of just how easy it is and how seamlessly it integrates into just your everyday workflow. If you're in a chat with multiple people, a single person, or a channel, it works the exact same in each way.
And I think we've had a couple of questions come in from Lee here while you were demoing, Liana. So let me take a look at those. First question: if someone is nominating someone for recognition or an award outside their team, is there a way for their manager or leader to be notified? And so that is something that's configurable in the system, so that the manager can just receive a simple notification, or actually there can be approval steps introduced into this as well. And that's a way for both controlling flows and peer-to-peer recognition, but also making sure that a manager is simply aware of the good work and how their team is being recognized by their peers across the organization. And the other question, can this be locked down by role? Managers only say. So everyone in the business who is friends with someone can't freely nominate. And again, that is something that you can control through configuration in the core platform. And the thing here is, of course, as an integration, we listen to everything that the core configuration controls. So in this particular instance, Lee, what we have is the notion of eligibility, to make sure that both people who can receive and who can nominate are controlled by the business rules. And that's set up in the core product. And it's something that we reflect and obey when we look at the integration through Microsoft Teams, or through our mobile client, or through our web Workhuman cloud platform. So hopefully that answers your question. If anybody else has questions, please feel free while we wrap up here.
Yes.
For anything else
other questions,
in the chat.
John.
Yes, go ahead, Bill.
Thank you so much, John and Liana. That's great. What I like about this product is when I've received recognition, when the whole team can see it in Teams, that means a lot more to me than just my manager saying, "Good job, Bill."
Yep, that power of connection and that power of socializing, like you say, it's not just the notion of a pat on the back from a manager, is actually something that the organization sees and can celebrate.
Exactly, and it creates a culture of gratitude and people imitating good examples. It creates a positive feedback loop. The other question is the drop downs that have the standard explanations. Are those customized by company? Is there a most recently used or some other memory function to that?
So those are completely configured by client. And in
Okay.
fact, what a client can do is control, like I was mentioning, the values of an organization can be reflected by those reason codes that we saw Liana demonstrate there. So if you have different values for integrity or for contribution or diversity and inclusion, you can reflect those and the award levels and the award values in the reasoning and the setup that you do inside the organization, and we reflect that through the integration. We pull it all from the core definition in the platform into the integration.
Thank you. That's great. Lee also asks, is there a business-wide dashboard or league table is the term he uses on recognition for senior leaders or say HR?
Yep, the core product, we haven't exposed that in the integration, at least at this point, has those sorts of metrics and those insights that leaders can get into comparing their team's value against benchmarks.
If Lee is widely praised across Microsoft, senior execs, his manager will be able to see that everyone is singing his praises.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Thank you. And what languages does recognition support?
So currently English, we are releasing new languages for that shortly. So you'll see from us basically keeping up with the core platform, which supports over 30 odd languages at this point in time.
That's great. 30 languages would generally cover most markets. Can you comment on how it's licensed and give us some sense for the cost?
So I won't be able to give you any sort of costing information at this point, but would certainly encourage an outreach into the Workhuman partner and sales organization, which I can more than happy to facilitate. But our success is based on our clients' success. And what I mean by that is when you look at our licensing, we don't bill until our clients, employees start giving awards. So that in essence, for us to be successful, your recognition program has to be successful. We don't bill by seat. We don't bill by headcount. We are very much encouraged by the fact that employees are using this and awards are being given. That's what generates our success.
That is a fascinating business model. I've heard of many different ones. That is super interesting because it encourages the whole organization to adopt the product and then again, create that positive feedback loop.
Exactly. And we'll work with you to help foster those notions in the communication and the programs and how it helps permeate the organization.
Well, John, I find that really interesting. Is it easy to deploy? Can you comment on a typical deployment cycle?
So the deployment specialists we have inside the organization will work you through from the setup of core rules, understanding what your values are, what the ethos of your recognition, your culture is, and how that can be instilled inside the product by the setup. We'll look at some of the more technical things, such as establishing connections between Workhuman and your core HRM system, which would drive the active employee definition, so that Workhuman can work off of that. And then we obviously go through test cycles in terms of the branding, communication material creation, as well as just the software end-to-end testing. It may take, based on the complexity and also the size of population you want to roll out, from a few months to perhaps longer, but it would all depend on the scale of ambition for that first rollout to where you want to take the program over time.
Great. So it sounds like you take a consultative process to make it truly effective at release.
Again, go back to the notion that our success is based on your success. Dropping the software and running away isn't in our world. We want to make sure that you understand and can harness the power of this. And we really hope that the integration with Microsoft Teams and where we're taking this integration throughout the Microsoft 365 world helps you make your program and the power of recognition more pervasive and more viral from a day-to-day perspective as your employees engage.
Excellent. Well, seeing no other questions, I want to thank you, John and Liana, and everyone at Workhuman for creating a product that really helps develop a strong and healthy culture within organizations using Microsoft Teams.
Thanks, Bill. It was a great chance to talk to your organization and this audience. So thanks for the chance from both myself and Liana and the Workhuman organization. We look forward to continuing our relationship with Microsoft.
Thank you very much. Bye, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.